Top of the morning to YouTube. It is I, your buttery voiced host, El Heftismo, and joined by me with great respect, and it is a pleasure to bring back the lovely and talented Carrie, the psychic medium, and of course, Tom and Amy's Paranormal Mysteries. Everybody, thank you guys so much for showing up. How is everybody doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I am wonderful. I am stressing a little bit right now. All right, he's gonna be here in 5 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, we're all
sweet. Okay. Well, yeah, I was so this is a show that is going to be dedicated to a really good friend of all of ours, and who was actually the catalyst. Marty's not here either. Marty's sleeping or something. Good for Marty. But the catalyst of us all meeting and everything happening, which has been really, really awesome, and starting this little family. Nick Mulae. Nick, take it away, buddy. Oh, you're not there. Right. So in the meanwhile, I guess we're going to sit around and wait for him for a couple minutes, but that's okay. Mm-hmm. It is 4th of July over here in the United States. And, of course, we are celebrating being independent from people that were I'm outnumbered. Nick, where are you, buddy?
Carry on.
No, we're good. We're good. But happy 4th of July to all of my American friends. And happy being rid of us Americans Day to all my UK friends.
No, enjoy 4th of July.
Enjoy it.
You got to have holidays like that. You got to make most of. Like we don't have anything like that here.
No, I was thinking
Really?
the same. We haven't really got anything, have we?
No, I mean,
Women's Day?
No.
yeah, fireworks night maybe.
Does that happen often, or
Bonfire night's on 5th of November. That's it. Bonfire night, call it Guy Fawkes night. That's
okay. Yes. Remember the 5th of November.
apart from that, no, I mean like even Halloween over here is not big at all.
That's more of an American thing than Halloween.
Over here it's tiny. Like your stores, like Halloween, you'll have your stores full of stuff, won't you? Like Halloween.
Yes.
Us,
Halloween. We actually open up stores seasonally. They're called Spirit Halloween stores, and they have locations in typically strip malls or in standalone buildings that only open up around Halloween. So we have specific stores that open just for Halloween.
Oh, we do.
We do.
had that last year,
They're not as good as obviously yours,
Yeah.
but we actually have ones that pop up now and again.
We had one up here that last year. We didn't go. We'll go this year because last year was our first year doing Halloween. But this year we're going to go for it again. We really got like all projectors and stuff. And
Oh, you got projectors and everything? You guys are okay.
yeah, we go for it. Like our street, like on our
We were the
street, we
best on the
stood
street.
out. Like
Oh, that's awesome. I want to see now that because I didn't know you guys last year for Halloween.
no, that was literally just as we were starting the channel, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, so this year will be big.
I can't wait to see. I better get videos. What about you, Carrie? You go hard for Halloween or what?
Not really.
No, not at all.
No.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to, but it's not very big here in Somerset in the UK. We don't have any. Well, I don't think we've got any of these pop-up shops. We've got Tesco's as an aisle.
Yeah, that's it. You just should get an aisle, innit? That's it. And normally it's all cheap shit that will last like one night and then it's knackered.
Where did we go? Did we go Dunelm or
What for?
for our Halloween stuff? There was quite a big section, wasn't there? Was it Dunelm?
No, isn't that being the other one?
Home bargains.
Home bargains, that's
yeah,
it.
Home bargains. They had a good section.
Yeah, quite a big section. But we were quite late last year buying it, so we didn't really get a lot of the good stuff. So this year we're going to buy early. And
We did
get
have
some better
a
stuff.
like a full size skeleton actually
hanging from the window, like
the window, yeah,
yeah.
with like a skeleton dog, spider.
We got all sorts of stuff, don't we?
What are you two? Wicked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
quite
Yeah, you
good.
guys definitely do. You go all actually a lot more than I do. I mean, my room is pretty much Halloween 365
Oh,
days
you're
a year
right.
anyway. But really, we don't have any kids that live in the neighborhood. It's just
It's more of a kid thing, isn't it?
We didn't do
yeah. I mean, you'll see like teenagers roaming around, but we don't get much traffic, which is sweet because we always buy stuff. And then we just end up getting to eat it, so it's sweet. Luther, what's going on? Nice to see you, Neil. Happy 4th of July to you, my brother.
Do you get toilet paper thrown in your trees and that, or is that just
No, nobody. People know better than to pretty much fuck with our house. We're big guys, so
No,
we've been on the block a long time. People kind of know.
Come out with your Uzi.
Yeah, no, not even. No, I actually, believe it or not a big gun guy. I don't really dig guns.
Huh?
I'm like one of the only Americans that's. No, that's not true. There's a lot of us out there.
I think there's a lot. Yeah, definitely. It's becoming more and more. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, no, I Halloween's good stuff. I don't know how we got off on that tangent, but yeah, 4th of July holidays.
I just think you guys in general just celebrate holidays a lot more than what.
A lot better than we do. Your holidays are like.
Well, if you take how we're loud people, you kind of take ostentatious into that as well. So it's kind of like being loud, but on an aesthetic level. You know what I mean? So we'll have like have you seen the houses on YouTube with like the lights that flash along with the music and like these people are paying twice their mortgage and their electricity bill for like a couple weeks in December. It's like I was a scared little puppy at the shooting range. That is very true.
Yeah. Oh, you don't like it. That's over here. Like we, I think people are very much more reserved. English people. Like the most you'll get at Halloween is like a pumpkin outside your house.
We're
they've got pumpkin.
We're snotting.
Boring old Brits.
Yeah.
No, that's not true.
Like, fuck it, we're gonna do it. I don't care how old I am.
Come on, do it for us, Tom and Anne.
That's right.
We do it.
We didn't do it for the kids, that's for sure. We did
Yeah,
it for
we didn't give a shit
ourselves.
about it. I literally put a bowl of sweets on the doorstep. Like I didn't want them knocking on my door. Like piss off.
That's what I
Do you really too? It's like I don't want to see your costumes. I'm sure you're
I don't
adorable.
give a shit.
Grubby little hands picking through all the candy, and you bring it back in your house.
Like
Like,
yeah.
Well, that's why last year I felt really bad for the kids last year.
I didn't.
Because there really wasn't a Halloween last year. It was pretty disappointing.
Yeah, but things that they could do without having all those sweets, to be fair.
Yeah, Tui and I actually, we have a yearly thing we do where we do 31 for 31. So every day in October, we watch a different horror movie every single day. Like, well, usually it's night after I get home and stuff like that, and after work. But so that's kind of a tradition we've been doing the past couple of years, which is, believe it or not, pretty easy to do. So
Yeah, I was gonna say.
We have running themes and stuff.
Yeah.
Like one's he'd never seen, and one was a mix of we went by like monster type. Like we did a week of zombies and a week of werewolves or several days a week. So it's actually kind of cool. So I guess everybody has their own little rituals that they do.
We watch Christmas movies.
Like at Christmas, we always watch certain movies. Yeah.
Same here. Yeah. Oh, wait, what do we have? This year is alphabetical. So that should be fun.
You're not even going to get past the A's.
I know. It's going to be.
Yeah.
We'll have a few floaters in there as well.
Good day.
You have to watch Amityville Horror.
Yes, I have actually both copies, the remake and the original one. They're both very good movies. Well, there's my A. There we go. Thank you, Amy.
Yeah, there you go.
You got my list started for me. So, do you know any B ones that start with B, Amy? Let's see how far we can milk this.
Blade.
Blade's
Blade?
Blade's a horror. Yeah, it's vampire. You ever heard of Blade?
I own it.
I own it.
It's not horror. That's not horror.
It's
It's an action movie.
It's a horror.
It's not.
It's got
Here we
vampires
go.
in it.
Here we
It's not
go.
horror.
Jerry.
It's not horror.
Would you class
If I
Jerry
watch
as a
it, it's not horror.
It's got vampires in it. They suck.
It's an action horror. It's a hybrid movie. It's a hybrid movie for me. It's got vampires.
Yeah, it's good.
I loved, what was it we were watching where Carrie was just buried with the pillow? No, it was.
Mixed it. Oh my god.
That was so funny. I thought it was amazing. When it was for the Sandman thing Nick was showing us after the show.
It was a scary thing underneath the bed, wasn't it? And it was lucky I
I bet you didn't sleep you flat out the bed that night.
No. Yeah. She had Dave check under the bed a couple times, like make sure there's nothing under there. It's like
It's all right. They can't get under.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Or at least it'd be a lot more difficult. But yeah, so still just waiting on Nick. So we'll give. How did you guys? What was your first encounter with Nick? I guess we'll start there while we're waiting on the good sir.
We saw him on another person's channel.
Yeah, some other guys.
Who had an aura. God, I can't even speak tonight. Who had a number of people on their panel, and one of them was Nick.
We just watched it. It's when we just started the channel.
We just watched it, and then we asked a couple of questions, and then the person that was leading it was called John, who asked us if they wanted to be on the live.
So that's when we had 5 subscribers, didn't we?
Yeah. Gave us a shout out, and then we talked to Nick, and then we decided ourselves that we wanted our own channel. So we said, why not ask
before
Nick?
the other channel, wasn't it?
Yeah, we said, why not ask Nick if he wants to be part of our panel?
Yeah.
And start from there.
It just shows you. I mean, if we hadn't watched that live, we'd probably never be doing this now. Which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, and you guys have come a long way. You guys are rocking up there in subs, at least on YouTube. I don't know the numbers for the Pun Network.
Not sure.
Last time we had like 1,200 it reached on the Pun Network.
Nice. That's not bad at all. How about you, Carrie? What was your first introduction to Mr. Mulae?
In here. Yeah, just in here. I came on as a guest on the Paranormal Mysteries, and Nick was there.
No.
Now, was it Nick or was it us that got Carrie on?
We did. I messaged you, didn't I, on Instagram? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Saying, do you want to be part of the show? Because I used to watch the readings you did in the morning, and I thought they were awesome. So
Nick can't take credit for that one.
Yeah. That's one guess he didn't know.
No.
Nick is the hub of the paranormal world. That's very true. He really is. And yeah, that was.
And Wikipedia.
Oh, he's brilliant.
Yeah, Wikipedia.
Wikipedia. Yes, Wikipedia. He is. That guy knows everything. If he doesn't, he'll come up with the information very, very quickly.
He's got his facts.
He knows the dates, that's for sure.
Yeah, he definitely does. And he's definitely a network guy. He's plugged into all sorts of groups and all these other connections that he has. It's actually quite admirable and I can imagine only overwhelming some of the time for him.
I barely have time to keep up with stuff that we do, let alone how many shows he does, and I don't know how he manages to keep up. I mean, most literally is every waking minute he's doing this stuff.
And he's doing scary stories alongside it as well.
Yeah.
He loves his scares. He's good at it, and I'll tell you, he loves what he does. He definitely loves what he does, and he's very good at what he does as well. So it's definitely good to see.
I'm going to give it a go, but I'm not amazing. I read to kids, but I'm not amazing, that's for sure.
I read to myself and I don't understand what I'm saying.
I think that'll be a lot of fun. I think you guys are selling yourself short. I'm actually very excited for that
Who wants
project.
to listen to this old voice? I don't know.
Probably the same people that show up to listen to mine. It's not for my award-winning smile. So, but no, I think that'll be a lot of fun. Nick does seem like the kind of guy you want to sit down and have a beer with and hear his stories.
He's very light-hearted, bless him, and I don't know. He's an all-round man. He's an approachable person.
Yeah, he's very approachable. Very approachable.
A nice aura about him.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, you were the big words.
What?
Oh boy.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh shit.
There we go. Now this is my channel, Amy. So no holds barred. You can rough him up if you have to. Or
time to get a snack tonight. That's what it's gonna get.
Oh.
You go in the shed.
You take me to work in the morning.
No, you can freaking bike. No, do you know what? You can walk.
Oh. Look, Amy, Tui has agreed with you, and he has jinxed you. Okay, go ahead. Keep berating Tom. This is gold.
It's like Jeremy Kyle, isn't it?
It's our relationship.
Yeah, this is like our what do you call it? Therapy.
Your couples therapy. Yes.
Yeah.
So how does that make you feel?
You've chose me and Hefty to be like the therapist.
I know that's weird. That's what. Well, if you're thinking about it, that's probably the best. Like you definitely be the more rational side, and I'm just kind of like, hey, Amy, you want to, you just want to kind of smack me in the back of the head. Oh yeah. I mean, look, she's wearing all white. I'm wearing all black.
It is literally.
I mean, it's.
You said
Yeah.
It. You said it.
Oh, there you go then. See?
What's psychic then?
Not psychic. I might have some sort of ability.
Everyone has an ability.
I was gonna say Carrie's whole face shifted when you said you're not psychic, because I think that there is definitely a little bit of that in everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In intuitiveness, or call it what you will, but sure, why not?
I'd love to hear, Carrie, like what goes on in your head, like with these voices and the people you hear, like your guide.
Yeah.
No, I mean, because you hear like about like obviously for you it's so normal, but for us it's like
Yeah, but you do hear things.
out of this world. Yeah, that's usually myself. Talk to myself.
It's not all the time. So, like for example, now with you guys, it doesn't happen all the time. It's like when I turn it on and turn it off, sort of thing.
Is it literally like you can hear somebody talking next to you?
Yeah.
Every time to piss.
That's crazy.
That's mad. That is just mad.
It's not always voices. A lot of the time, it's pictures and images, and then that's for me to sort of understand what that's about. And that's where I get it wrong sometimes, because I've misunderstood what that picture I've been shown.
Yeah.
So
Can't be easy.
Do you have to tell them sometimes like shut up, just shush?
Zip it.
that happens actually at night time. You know, when you get ghosts visit you, it's because you're going to sleep and your energy's changing, so it's easier for them to contact you. And they're my times I'm like, I ain't working now, come back in the morning, sort of thing.
Yeah, I suppose you have to. I mean, we get that, and we've always said that. Like when we go to bed, sometimes in our room, you'll hear noises that had never happened at any other point. I did it like the other night. On the table, heard a loud knock on the table, and you can feel that there's something there, like watching you. I know we've got the dolls and shit, but I definitely think when you go to bed at night, like it does.
I like feel auras in a room or with an object.
Yeah.
Very rare I'll hear a voice.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I used to be a lot more in tune when I was younger, like my mum. I used to sense a lot of things. I used to be able to see a lot of things, feel a lot of things. But now it's like slowly gone away. But it's almost changed and morphed to something different.
Kids you're born open basically, and as you grow up as an adult, you close down just to fit in society. And as parents go, ghosts aren't real, that's not real, just in your imagination. So they're closing you down. With my own children, I've tried not to do that.
Yeah,
I want them to be open, even though they're leading different lives than I am. I want them to have that connection with the spirit world still.
Yeah, I get that. My mum, like, she's very much, she let me believe in what I want to believe.
Yeah.
So that's why I think maybe I'm not completely shut down. I've kind of accepted it, so it's become kind of reality. It's not like I don't believe in it. So that's maybe why it's like calmed down almost, because I'm accepting of it. I don't know.
It's like my mum and dad, like, psycho.
I was just going to say that Amy, she's doing this show now, and she's still got like one foot in the spiritual world almost. We're doing this with the dolls and everything. So you've not completely stepped away and do your normal daily life. You're still here doing it.
Yeah. I think for me, it's I don't need any more proof anymore. So I don't need to hunt it as much as what I did before. Whereas you're wanting more and more and more all the time.
I'm
quite easy. I can just step away.
I'm very what's the word?
You're too intrigued.
If I do something, I'll do it to death. Like
obsessive.
I'm obsessive, yeah. So if I like something, I will go like constant. I get like addicted to it. I've got a very addictive personality.
No clue what that's like.
But for me, like for my parents, I never spoke to my parents about ghosts when I was home, ever.
You
just didn't.
You thought it was fake.
My mum and dad never mentioned it at all. It's only when I met you.
Yeah.
It was what, 6-7 years ago. So it's really quite fresh for me.
I know my grandparents didn't really believe in it. I mean,
It's a generation thing, though, isn't it?
yeah, my granddad, he said that when he dies, it'll just be a piece of meat in a box, and that's it. And now, when my mum and dad went to go and see a medium, the first thing apparently my granddad did was say, it's funny how those most haunted programs actually were true, aren't they? And we used to watch Most Haunted all the time. It was a big program they watched, so he brought that out. So, plus she was blind, so she couldn't even see.
Oh wow!
The room. Yeah.
And even the things that you do, Kerry, and the things that you said, like, there's no way that it can't not be real. Like,
I think there is people that are fakers out there. But
there's always you can
see when a person's genuine, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there is a lot of charlatans out there. I mean, I get a lot of people on my Instagram copying me, yet taking my photos and scamming people, basically. The amount of times I like to tell people there's only one of me and this is it, sort of thing. Don't accept anything from anybody else.
I've seen like 40 of those on Instagram. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Because I had a friend request from one of them, and I thought it was you. I thought you've just changed your channel. That's why I messaged you saying, "Is this you?"
We'll get a message saying, "Oh, I'll offer you a reading for X amount." Oh, no, that's not me. So it's really sad. And at first, when it started happening, it's like, oh God, it made me feel very violated that my face was being used for this. As time's gone on, I mean, it's still not nice, but it's just one of those things now. And I find that I'm not the only medium people are using to do this. It's quite common on there. But yeah, it is. I do feel I'm having to prove myself all the time, but then that's part of this job. What it is.
And at least in yourself, you know that it's genuine.
It's hard for people to believe, obviously, that people that.
Of course it is. I mean, that's why I think that I wish I could hear what you hear, but we never will.
Well, if you dedicated time and energy into building your mediumship, you will eventually. But this is taking my whole life to get to where I am doing what I'm doing. This isn't something I started last weekend, sort of thing, on a course and walked out and doing what I'm doing.
It'd be great if you could, though.
Dedication, isn't it?
All day, every day as well. So again, it's like riding a bike. Anything you do, you have to practice.
I can't ride a bike.
No.
You can't.
No, of course. No, I can ride a bike.
I was going to say,
I can ride a bike.
So like,
I'll come to America and teach you how to ride a bike.
Okay, if you're threatening to come to America and teach me how to ride a bike, then for all intents and purposes, I don't know how to ride a bike. You guys come visit me.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch. I'm coming to watch.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Yeah. Yo.
That's why he was late.
The man of the hour. Wow, look at you. You're a human firework. Is your hat going off too?
It's not the hat. Well, it's going off the green screen, but I got this kind of like a crown almost of light.
This is why he's late. He had to put up all his gaff on.
Very good. No, I bet you wore it to work, didn't you, buddy?
I sure did. And it looks like they're having a competition, actually, of who's going to be wearing the best 4th of July clothes.
Oh, you're a shoo-in. Yeah, you're a shoo-in, dude.
I was going to say, even though I wasn't going to know until Tuesday because I'm off tomorrow, my store manager said, just between you and me, I think you're the one who actually is going to be the one who's winning.
Dude, if I worked with you, I wouldn't even bother dressing up. I'd be like, no, Nick, are you kidding me? Nick's going to absolutely just crush this. I can't wait to see what you do for Christmas.
Just you wait till Halloween.
Well, I don't know, actually, I'm going to be dressing really well for Halloween as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're on that one.
Well, we'll definitely be doing a Halloween show. Carrie, you have to dress up as something too, apparently.
Halloween's Sunday, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, Sunday this year.
I don't know.
I'm sure because I looked at it when it's going to land, and we're the Friday and Sunday.
Oh, that works out quite nicely then.
It does.
So we could have 2 special shows.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's going to be good. I think all of October should be fun. Oh, my God, Nick, you mean there's no glass in those glasses?
No, there's not. There's no glass at all. That was actually given to me by another manager at our store earlier this year, and he didn't want them. And I look at these, I'm like, I actually could probably use these for a particular holiday since they got the stars on them. So I added this along with the entire outfit. So
stars and stripes, baby.
Despite the appearance, this is not actually a black shirt. It's just the green screen effect. It's actually dark blue in color.
That's great. Well, kudos, man. You look fantastic.
There's a prescription glasses. Walking down the street with them on.
So Nick, we had just been talking about how we all got to make your acquaintance. The whole reason we wanted to do the show, man, is because we love you. You do a lot of really good things for a lot of people. You are by far one of the hardest working guys that I've ever met, period. Between, all these shows, booking guests for shows, being a guest on these shows, and then fitting in work and all the stuff that you do with your scary stories and, everything. I think that you are definitely an uncredited hero. So I wanted to say, and I think I can speak for everybody on this, but we love the absolute hell out of you, buddy. And thank you so much for everything you do, especially for me. Thank you for introducing me to these wonderful people, and everything you've done for me. And to think it all started was with some scary stories. So Nick, why don't you start at the beginning, buddy? Tell us how you got interested in all this stuff, and why don't you give us let us know exactly what you do.
Oh man, I'm just thinking, where do I start? Because there's just so much. Well, first off, I just want to say I very much appreciate that, you guys. Of course, I love you guys to death as well. And yeah, I couldn't agree more, Adam. And I'll start with just a few scary stories. How can I really start? Is really it really came from a young age for me. And this was even before I got into the paranormal stuff. For starters, growing up in the early 90s was somewhat difficult for me, to find particular interests that I would eventually enjoy. And of course, it was difficult for having having autism, especially at that age. But it wasn't until about a few years later that I came across what would eventually become my first horror films I ever watched. One of those films, and I know it's not really a horror film, but it has kind of it in some way, was actually, and you guys have seen me post stuff like this before, is something associated with the movie Nightmare Before Christmas. I mean, let's be honest. That was kind of the head start for me. If it wasn't for that movie, to be honest, I don't know where I would be.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Nightmare Before, okay.
Well, not even just that. I mean, alongside, right around the same time, you also had the X-Files, which, at that time, it was still huge and very popular at that time. So, that was kind of I guess you can kind of put it like the origins of how I really got into this stuff. And then a few years afterwards, well, unfortunately, in 2002, we had a fire at our house at one point, but it was kind of ironic that it was going on because around the same time I was starting to watch Godzilla movies. So it's like I was kind of working my way up, of how I kind of am today. So I was watching all these Godzilla films, and I actually first thought our house was being burned down by him. I think right around that same time too, I also watched my first paranormal show, which, I mean, I'm surprised even almost 20 years later, people still remember the show. It wasn't Sightings, but it was Scariest Places on Earth. I don't know if you guys were ever familiar with that series.
I remember Scariest Places on Earth. Oh, yeah.
I recall that I didn't really believe in it as much, of course, as I do now, but I think I was just kind of more fascinated. Just the intensity of it, the excitement. I think, this might be something I might want to check out, whether I believe it or not. But as the years rolled on, I started getting in, I kind of started, well, I'm kind of going back to it now, but, with Godzilla, but as the years went by, I kind of started moving away from Godzilla and started focusing on watching classic slasher films at a young age, like around 12, 13 years old. So, of course, I was only able to watch them on AMC, so I couldn't see the uncensored versions. And then right around that same time was when I really got into the paranormal stuff. And Tom and Amy, I know I've told you guys in the past of how that started, but what really got me into it was, and this was, of course, again, before Ghost Adventures took over the Travel Channel. I happened to be flipping through the channels one night back in 2005. And this was back when they had paranormal shows every Friday night on the Travel Channel, 2005. I happen to switch to the channels just looking for something to watch, and I come across this show that's called Most Haunted. I'm like, oh, wow, this actually sounds pretty interesting, because I was already watching horror films on a regular basis, so I thought, oh, I'll give this a try. And then shortly after watching it, just seeing, how the reactions were and the activity they got, while I was still skeptical about it, that was what really got me into it. I'm thinking, you know what, I want to see more of this kind of stuff. And then 2 years later, by the time I was 14 years old, I was already going on. I was already on my first investigation. They were part-time investigations, though. They were not like full night ones. But I mean, while I didn't have as much, experience, as much activity at that time, I was able to collect one of my first pieces of evidence, which I still have to this day. I should have brought it with me, actually. It's from an old digital audio recorder, which I recorded my first EVP at a hotel in Colorado. And no, it's not Stanley Hotel, different hotel entirely. I just want to be clear on things on that, because some people think, oh, it's in Colorado. Did you go to the Stanley?
Yeah, it's the Stanley. Yeah.
Nope, not this one. This was a different one. I can't remember what the name of it was. But moving forward then, too, also around at that same age, when I was still, obviously, I was in high school, I actually formed a paranormal club at my school. And here's the cool thing. That was almost 15 years ago, and that club is still running to this day. Since 2007, it's still running.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
You started. That's crazy.
Yep. And I have yet to have made a visit. I have not been. I mean, I did try to make a visit a few years back, but when I got there was like nobody there other than the current president. But I'm hoping to make a visit there not now because it's summer break, but maybe during the fall or sometime during the winter. So then fast forward a couple of years, as I've said a number of times on shows like this. By the time I was 17 years old, I had my very first full night investigation, which was at Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Louisville, Kentucky. I know I was there earlier this year, and that is still one of my all-time favorite locations.
Is that the one where you took the picture years later that you did in the same spot that you did when you were young, Mulae?
In the death tunnel. That's correct. That
was adorable.
Yeah, I figured, and we're even going as far as wearing the same shirt, which I still have, obviously, to this day. I mean, it was just phenomenal. It's definitely a place that doesn't disappoint. I think that event alone is what, even though I started at age 12, this was the event that really got me into the professional paranormal career, if you want to call it, and where I'm at pretty much today.
Now, how did you go about first when you knew that you loved this stuff? How did you go about really getting? Did you just start immediately getting into every little aspect of it that you could in the internet, and as far as wanting to rub elbows with people?
Well, for starters, I mean, I will say this: it was difficult because obviously there was not as many paranormal groups. Well, I mean, at least not as many Facebook groups, because back then Facebook did exist, but it was still a college site.
Yeah.
It wasn't meant for everybody. So back then, trying to look for the right groups or trying to get in contact with people was pretty difficult. But at the same time, while I was very much fascinated by it, I didn't want to just jump. I mean, while I kind of jumped into the interest, I didn't really want to jump into the actual profession very quickly because, like I said, for the most part, I was still skeptical of what I was seeing. So I kind of had to work my way up in order to get where I'm at now. So I always had to look at these shows. I actually, you know what? Give me 1 second. I still have these to this day. Because I was a huge fan of Scariest Places on Earth. Oh my God, these are ancient now. Wow. I mean, seriously, I've not even put my hands on these things for several years. These are what I call my own stories, and they're actually just written accounts from the show Scariest Places on Earth. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Oh, yeah.
Look. And, oh my God, I cannot believe I'm actually looking at this stuff. I almost forgot. Okay, that was close.
There we go.
That almost messed up everything. I was splitting it in half, but I would basically document an episode. So, this is one episode an episode called A House Possessed, which was focused on a house in Johnstown, Missouri. And I would write down all the information they were saying on the show, as well as, kind of documenting the evidence that they were getting.
You actually have pretty good handwriting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and honestly, I didn't even finish the whole series, but I got through most of it, though, I can tell you that. So
that's insane.
This is some of pretty much, you can kind of say, the earliest evidence I have of me documenting paranormal phenomenon, as well as kind of starting off writing my own stories, if you will.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, and obviously, if Carrie, Tom, and Amy, if you guys have any questions, ask them. Anybody in the comments. If not, I'm just going to keep plugging away.
Yeah, I'm just fascinated. Like that was.
It must have been amazing. I've always wanted to go there. Is it still got a fantastic phenomena there?
Oh yeah, it really does. I mean, again, it's a place that doesn't. I mean, we're supposed to be going. The Paranormal United Network. We're supposed to be going back again next year, probably around the same time in mid to late April. So I already know for a fact I'll be back.
Your paranormal crew, is that some of the people that you made the paranormal club at your school? Did they follow suit with you?
Well, originally it started that way. I mean, the crew that I have now, like for my own local crew, Illinois Paranormal Force, sadly, none of them came from my school. In fact, one of them, his name's Adam. He was actually already starting college by the time I started.
I like him already.
Yeah. I didn't know him until 2018, though, so it was still several years. But when I graduated, one of my best friends at that time did take over, and I was actually expecting that she was going to be working, with me at the time before I, years before I formed my own group, and of course, years before I joined this. Unfortunately, such plans never materialized. I guess you can kind of say the only closest thing that we actually worked together on during our post-high school years was working at Spirit Halloween in 2007.
We were talking about that. We were talking about Spirit earlier in the green room. It was at the show. I don't know. We've been talking about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we bought up Spirit. Yeah, that's how you worked there. That's crazy.
For 3 years. And I'd like to work there again this year, but the problem is that we don't know if there's going to be any stores opening in our area.
That's a shame.
Of course, we didn't have any last year, obviously, because of COVID. But
yeah,
the stores that did open were just kind of too far away from our house. And someone told me that it looks like we might have fewer locations in this area, but that could all change. There's
because these companies have gone bust, or is it just because of the COVID thing?
It might be. I'm not sure. But also, a lot of the buildings that are bought for Spirit Halloween, they're not really bought. They're just rented, so they're only temporarily used. And when the Halloween season's over, we take everything apart. We're there for an extra week because we're taking everything apart, and then afterwards we're done. So whatever they want to do with the building, that's up to them. So many of the buildings that we've used have been bought now since. So now they're used for facilities and other types of stores. So I don't know of any other place, but there's a funny meme actually, if you guys have ever seen it, where it says shop, part of a shopping mall, and it's all shut down, and then they have a picture below it. It's a guy going like this, ooh, possible spirit store. I'll have to find that for you guys.
So Tui wants to know where's the farthest from home you've gone for an investigation?
Yeah. For an investigation, I mean, other than the part-time ones, the furthest I've gone so far, actually, it's not even really a paranormal investigation, more of a cryptid investigation, if you will, was Point Pleasant, West Virginia, when we went to the Mothman Festival. And it was perfect when we went because it was 2016. It was the 50th anniversary of the original Mothman sites that occurred back in the 60s. And we actually had the opportunity to investigate the TNT bunkers, where supposedly that's where the Mothman was said to somewhat live or kind of hide in a way. And we actually investigated with this guy by the name of, I can't remember his last name, but his name was Bill. Oh my God, I feel like it's right in front of me. But he was actually a speaker at this event, and this guy was really professional. And we happened to run into him while we were checking out the bunkers. So it was kind of an honor to actually really investigate with this guy. And I don't know. I mean, even though nothing really happened while we were there, it's just one of the most bizarre places I've gone to. And certainly the farthest. I mean, West Virginia. But
yeah, that's far. That's a solid drive from where I am.
Yeah,
I mean, not even considering where you are, and it's probably even further for Carrie and Thomas.
Other side of the world,
That's a little far. I mean, if you're buying, I'm flying, but.
Is there any places that you've been to that haven't lived up to their reputation?
Well, there is one place. I mean, maybe it was just because it was on a night that there just wasn't much going on. And this is a place that's been investigated by probably almost every paranormal show you could think of. Bobby Mackey's Music World in Wilder.
Wow.
Yeah, I went there 10 years ago. That was, funny enough, my first investigation with a paranormal team, because that was when I was with Midnight Paranormal Society. The group somewhat still exists, but again, we just haven't done as much since then, so that's why I formed my own group. But when we went to Waverly, I mean, we were told about the stories of what was going on there, the demonic possession, the attacks. The entire night we were there, first off, it was hot as hell in this place. It had to have been 100 degrees inside this building. And it was like probably 80 and humid outside. So it was not a good night. Yeah, it was in the middle of August. And when we went up to the top floor of where the apartment was, where his name's Carl. I can't, again, having trouble with names. But he burned the building a few years back. It had to have been like a sauna when we were up there. And out of the entire night we were there, the only type of paranormal activity we experienced was just a brief cold breeze that went through. And we knew there's no AC in this building. That was the only thing we experienced. No scratches, no attachments, no possessions. We were pretty disappointed that night. But again, now I look back years later, it may have just been on a night that it was
too hot. They weren't even feeling it. They're like, nah.
You find that, don't it?
It's like, hey, there's a bunch of dudes. It's like,
not even the gateway to hell served up as its reputation. The well, like that, used to be the where the slaughterhouse used to stand. There wasn't anything that went on.
Wow,
that's crazy. And yeah, it's hyped to be one of the most craziest places to go.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter where you go. If it's the wrong night, it's the wrong night.
I do wonder if they get overdone a little bit. Do you know what I mean? When
it could be. There may be a possibility too that you hear the stories like involving Carl as well as Bobby Mackey, who when they first set up the place. You have to remember he opened this place up back in the late 70s, so it is possible that just saw that. It is possible that you look at those shows and maybe when they open it up, just like any place, when you rebuild or remodel a location, that obviously will make it a lot more active. And of course, there was the exorcism that occurred. There's been blessings probably. So that probably explains why it's not as hugely as active or as dangerous as it was, over 40 years ago.
Yeah.
It does die off, doesn't it? It's almost like it's like you was you saying, Kerry, like that with our dolls. It gets to a point where we keep asking the same questions and stuff, and they're just like,
they've already told you the answers that you need to know.
I'm not a performance seal. I've done they just want to just sit back. I don't blame them really.
Yeah, if you think about where we go, we're not going to want to keep answering the same old thing, are we, day in day out?
Yeah, exactly. It's like if you guys have ever seen Beetlejuice. It's like Adam and Barbara. It's like we're not here to do tricks for your family. They're like, we're dead. Like, leave us the fuck alone.
Yeah.
There you go. There's your Halloween movie.
There we go. Yeah, that is. Oh, Amy, my girl. Yo, that's what's up. Helping me. That's 2 down, Tui. That's 2 down on Amy's time. This is actually a really good question from Tebow. Nick, what do you most aspire to learn or discover in your paranormal pursuits?
Oh man, that's a really good question.
Tebow knocking it out of the park with that.
Oh man, I think it's just mainly. I mean, we're all looking kind of for the same thing in a way. We're all looking for the evidence that a lot of the stuff, definitely exists. But I think also to kind of, I basically have like a couple different ideas of what inspires me the most. I mean, obviously, I think one to answer in another way is that, of course, as you guys know, as well as the entire Pun Network knows, that it seems as if, and it seems like this is starting to become more well-known in the paranormal community, that autism seems to be, certain people with disabilities, it seems like it has somewhat played a role in the paranormal field because, for me, just like any type of psychic, medium, clairvoyant, sensitive, we all have different types of abilities. For me, it's like I'm actually able to see images of history with a particular location. It's not entirely clear, I can get an idea of what exactly may have happened at this location. That probably explains why I've always had such a fascination with history. So I would say part of it is to show that, such learning disabilities such as autism, Asperger's, may have some kind of role with such, type of activity. Man, I can go all day with that. It's really kind of hard to even try to partially answer. To answer it.
Well, so if you had to pinpoint in particular one, because I know you probably have many, but if you had one goal, or one truly, like one dream, either investigation or guest or taking maybe your chapter to bigger levels or something, what's one of your more lofty goals that you have?
Oh man, see, that's a question I sometimes even ask myself exactly. Freaking food answer.
He means good. I'm sure. Yeah, he fixed it. Good. Yeah.
I think really, until I actually can really think of the answer for myself, I think it's just really kind of being one of the younger investigators. I know some of us are around the same age, but I think kind of continuing on the legacy of our previous generations, paranormal brothers and sisters, and carrying it on to the next generation as well.
That was a terrible answer.
Yeah, I know.
You're fired. On the 4th of July, and you get him out of here. No, I'm okay. No, you're not Marty. Marty won't be making it. Obviously, Nick, he's really tired, but he does send his regards and says hello, of course.
I figured it's no problem at all.
Yeah, I was gonna bust his chops, but I was like, no, that poor guy.
Nick, how many shows do you actually do now?
That's a good question.
Oh my God.
How do you actually do that?
Well, part of it, I think you and I both know the answer to that. But entirely with co-hosting, I do 3 shows. So you guys obviously for this show and our other show, and then I got the Petri dish. And now it seems somewhat, because obviously you guys have seen me on Matt TV. I'm supposed to be back on it twice at some point during the rest of this month. So you can kind of well say I have somewhat of a 4th one, but not officially. Just maybe in the future, but just not yet.
That's incredible. That's every week. You have to do those shows every
week. And last year, before I met any of you guys, I was on multiple different paranormal shows almost every week, and sometimes it would go to about 3 to 4. I even had one case where I had 5 shows I had to do an entire week. So they were like 4 talk show, like podcasts like this, as well as one radio show I had to do.
What about, if you can't answer Adam's question, what about in terms of, is there a place that's on your bucket list
to investigate
that you'd love to investigate, like your top one?
Oh my God. I got a bunch of them, but I can tell you right now, one of those locations would be undoubtedly Gettysburg.
Oh, yeah, that's my one, that is.
Yeah.
That is a place I've been trying to get to since high school.
Yeah, definitely gotta go there.
I had a buddy just go there, and actually Matt, my brother, and my father went recently to Gettysburg, to the battlefield and everything. Just absolute crazy, man. Absolutely crazy.
I actually have a trivia fact for you guys with Gettysburg, Civil War, in fact. See, my initials are Salvatore Sullivan. Now, where that actually came from was from a Civil War soldier. you guys, well, I'm sure you guys know that. Well, Matt, obviously, Adam, I'm sure you probably know, obviously, the Civil War series that was made 30 years ago, right? From
Oh, I remember that. Yes.
You remember there was a segment. It was one of the most notorious segments where there was a soldier by the name of Sullivan Ballou who wrote a letter to his wife, saying that he was probably not going to come back. It was a very, very emotional letter. Well, before I was born, my parents, they watched it when it first came on television back in 1990, and it was so moving, so emotional for them that they decided if they were going to have another child, which they were hopefully going to have a son, which obviously was going to be me, they decided to name part of Sullivan Ballou's name as one of my middle initials in honor of him. So that's where my middle name comes from.
That's awesome, and I never knew your middle name. That's pretty pimping.
Yeah.
Are they big into the paranormal then?
Yeah. I mean, it's just it wasn't until years later until I found out about it. I mean, I wasn't born until 93, so I wasn't really around to actually hear that name.
I know 93.
I know. I remember 93. Remember, right, Carrie? You know what I'm saying? Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains were on top, and I had hair.
Oh man, I saw the question here. Why haven't I gotten out to Gettysburg yet? I haven't had the chance. I've been wanting to go out sooner, but you have to remember. I mean, for those who are watching, I live in Chicago. Gettysburg, it's about a good 10, maybe 12-hour drive to get from Chicago to Gettysburg, and plus, it's also pretty expensive in some of the areas. You got to try to rent a hotel or motel room. But there is an event that is coming up that I'm hoping to go to. They were supposed to do it last year, but like every other event, because of COVID, it got canceled. They're doing something called the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. And that's going to be, I think it was going to be in August 20th. I posted it down on Facebook at one point. I'm going to have to go back and look. But it's sometime in late August. Yes, it's mainly more of a historical event. But this is like the one of those events that it's attracting all different paranormal brothers and sisters from around the country. I mean, that's like one of the ultimate cons. So I'm hoping to go in another month.
Would you drive there then, or would you get a plane?
Oh man. Well, all these trips I've been doing has always been from a car. So that might be the only opportunity. There's another reason why, is because I'm bringing all my paranormal tools with, and in this day and age, you try to bring it to the airport, they're going to think that you're a terrorist. To them, they'll think it's bombs.
Just weapons. Dress like you are now. Just show up dressed like that, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's fine. He's good. Just let him go."
Yeah, I would.
Well, hopefully you get out there. So is it one of those things where the dress code is either blue or gray? And that's it. You either wear blue or gray.
I don't know. That's a good question. I know I'll be wearing my vest. That's for sure, especially for the investigation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got to
wear Amy, I'm sorry.
I'm saying on the glasses. You need to wear the glasses.
Oh yeah. Oh. Or what you should do is you should take them off and pretend to clean them. Be like, there's no glass in them. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, people are like, oh, it's very studious. Yeah.
Oh wait a minute, there's no lenses in this. What the hell? No, they give me. I thought these were supposed to be my prescription glasses.
How did you get to be a part of the Pun Network?
Well, interestingly enough, I mean, I've seen from Steven that supposedly they've been around since 2013, although they didn't really, I guess they really didn't get started until last year. It was when I was trying to expand more, because I was getting all these friend requests from different paranormal investigators. First, it started off, obviously, in just throughout the U.S. Then it worked its way up through Canada and Mexico. And then eventually I started getting connections in Europe. And each of these folks that I added, a lot of times I would usually post on their page, saying, thanks for adding me, glad that we're making this connection. I'm always enjoy making, new paranormal connections throughout the country and around the world. And then Someone stole my lenses. Yeah,
that's Chicago. That's Chicago.
That's exactly what. He basically described what Chicago is. So I added these people, and then I would get these notifications from them, or I was just checking my news feed, and there were all these. This was around the time when I was really starting to get active in these different paranormal podcasts. So I was always constantly looking for new podcasts to hopefully become a guest on. Not to be famous, of course, just so if they ever needed a new guest, I'd be willing to step in. So I came across one of their shows. It's actually one of their shows they no longer run anymore, unfortunately, but the crew's still there. And I checked it out for a while, and I always do this tradition where every time I come across a new paranormal show, I'll watch it. I'll watch 3 episodes while they're live, because you don't want to. I mean, the way how I see it is, if you're good at being a guest on a show, you don't want to just jump in there and say, I'd be happy to be a guest. You watch 3 episodes in my case. You comment on it, so that way they can kind of get to know who you are. And after 3 or so episodes, that's when it's you could pretty much send them a message and say, really enjoyed your show. If you ever need more guests, I'd be happy to come on. But this was different though. After the one particular show was over, a few minutes later, there was another show that broadcasted. I'm thinking, how could this be? Because usually they don't broadcast like that. So it was only after that I discovered it was something called the Paranormal United Network. And I'm thinking, this is like a whole channel of paranormal shows then, right? I mean, I wasn't actually asking someone. I was just kind of thinking to myself. So I guess I kind of really – so at that point, I thought, well, I'll check out some of these shows, and, those who are watching, I'll introduce myself, so that way they can get to know who I am. And I started becoming more of a supporter of the Paranormal United Network. Now, at the time, they were actually part of another channel, which was called Paranormal Warehouse. Unfortunately, we're no longer associated with Paranormal Warehouse. That's a different story, but we're just no longer part of Paranormal Warehouse, unfortunately. Let's just say due to some differences. So I was always watching them constantly, but it wasn't until about October of last year that I finally was able to kind of come on to a guest, not because it was by accident. In fact, it wasn't intentional, unlike some of these other shows. I joined. It was a show which was, of course, we now know is the 13th Dimension. They were doing their 3rd episode with Jeremy and Scott, Tim and Crystal. They were interviewing someone by the name of Tori Smith, who also has a show of her own, along with Matt Warner with Warner Paranormal Explorers, same show that Lee Phillips was on. And they noticed that I was commenting a lot on the show, just finding a lot of interesting stuff. Of course, some of the stuff I was saying was jokes, because John Doherty, who we've seen before, was making jokes as well. And Tori's like, you should try to get this guy Nick onto the show. It's like they asked on camera saying, you want to come on? And I was like, absolutely. So I took a few minutes to, just get things set up. I think it was at that moment, it's like my true association with the Pun Network was born. And that's when I really started supporting. I started sharing all these different shows. Then 2 months later, come around right after Christmas and right before New Year's, I get a message from Howard. First off, they wanted me to come back onto the network because they were having this little holiday Christmas party, which of course it was going to be held by the Pun Network. I was not going to refuse that.
Yeah.
That was definitely a lot of fun. Then a few nights later, I get another message from Howard Petrie, who does the Petrie Dish. And he asks, would I be interested in wanting to become a co-host for not only a show, but practically the Paranormal United Network? Oh my God. I mean, it's like,
that must have been crazy.
I almost dropped the phone when I got the offer. I was like, well, I can't say no to that. So
no, not at all.
I put it all in caps, like, yes. It was like the ultimate Christmas/New Year's gift for me. Because it was right after Christmas, and what better way to start off the new year and hopefully get a fresh start than joining the Paranormal United Network. And a few days, they had their first full meeting, so I was able to, meet the rest of the crew for the first time. It's still an exciting feeling.
That's amazing, and you do an awful lot, man. It's admirable to see how invested you are in everything. But we are coming up on time, Nick. Unless anybody has any other questions, I have one last one for you.
I just want to say that, Nick, you can everything you do, you can tell you've got a massive passion for it, and it's incredible. It's infectious. Yeah. Your passion for the paranormal, and this is why so many people like you and so many people want you on their shows, because your passion for it is infectious and it's awesome. So definitely don't stop what you're doing. Definitely not.
Oh, trust me. I once said 3 years ago, it was actually one of the first real paracons that we really went to out of town. It was down in Alton, Illinois, and I was just amazed by how many connections I made so quickly back then. And I wrote this post down shortly after the con, but the last part of it sounds a little crazy, but still, it really means a lot. I basically said that I'll continue doing this stuff till I'm either dead or physically incapacitated. There's just still too much to learn on this kind of stuff. Too much to see, too much, too many others out there I have yet to have met. There's just too much excitement in this field.
That's awesome, man. You really are something else, and you're one of the sweetest people I've ever met. For anybody watching that doesn't know, Nick is the same off camera as he is on camera. And actually, that's the one thing I love about everybody in this family is you guys are what you see is what you get. And there's a lot of people that aren't like that out there. So it's really awesome to have the family that we are, that you're to blame for, Nick. Way to go, buddy. And I mean that in the nicest way possible.
It just seems like this has only happened within the last couple of years, because one final part I forgot to mention was when I started going to these cons, really starting 4 years ago, let's put it that way, I noticed it just seemed as if the paranormal community really didn't have a specific task or intention, almost like it just seemed almost somewhat unorganized. It was almost like as if someone was telling a story about me, someone would be saying it seemed as if they needed a leader, and 24-year-old me back then stepped in and kind of took over. It's like I basically took all these investigators and I made them from what was kind of a rather unorganized groups to what they practically are now. So I definitely feel like I've earned a part of putting this whole paranormal community together.
Yeah, you did. That's undoubtedly true. Yeah, but so obviously, Nick, thank you so much. Love to have you on the show again. If you can find it at some point, in your heart to come on such a small channel. This is the same with the rest of you guys. No,
this is a regular thing. This is definitely.
I appreciate all you guys. You guys are amazing family, and I truly do appreciate you guys
as well. You're here all the time for not only for your show, for our show. It's fantastic to keep you guys popping up. It's awesome. So thank you.
That's it.
You're very welcome.
Sorry.
Hey, there we go. Yay, Nick.
I still need to tag you guys. I've been tagging a lot of different investigators, obviously, for my 4th of July music post. I'm sorry I haven't tagged you guys yet because I can only
I'm waiting for it. I'm grilling as soon as the show is over.
I can only tag 100 people at a time. So I'm going through.
That's what I'm talking about. He's like, I can only tag 100 people at a time. I'm like, dude, well, I don't even know 100 people.
Where I'm at right now is because I'm going through states in alphabetical order. So I'm already done with my state. I just finished up Kansas. So let's see who we got next after this. We got
I should be coming up. I'm in New York.
Yeah, so you got to be well, there's Kentucky, there's Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota. Oh, Adam, I hate to say it, it's going to still be a while.
You're fair enough. I know I'll get mine. I'm a patient boy.
Oh, I know you. No, you'll get it real soon. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my God!
Take your time, buddy. I'm literally just going to be waiting for it.
You're about 13 states from me tagging you.
That's fair.
I count on one hand now if people I tag.
That's
I literally keep track of like everybody, like from where they're from, because I know I've probably told you guys I've been making this video that I'm still trying to put together, and I've been reaching out to so many investigators from around the world, and knowing that I was going to have all these connections, it's like there was no way I was going to be able to keep track of them. So
yeah,
I started writing everybody's names down, and I got to update it again because that list is constantly growing.
That's fantastic, dude.
It's out of this world. So I guess in that we're going to end it for the day. Nick, thank you so much again for everything you do. Carrie, Amy, Tom, thank you guys for everything. Amy, you as soon as that camera goes off, Tom, you getting a black eye, bro. You get.
You're the most sadistic laugh, aren't you?
Oh, here we go. Follow on Instagram and on YouTube. Follow Kerry on TikTok and Instagram. I will get everybody's information down in the description shortly. Follow Tom and Amy on their amazing channel on YouTube as long as Tom is still breathing. Tom and Amy Paranormal Mysteries on YouTube. Check them out also on Instagram. Just an amazing bunch of people. See, there we go. And I guess if you guys like what I'm doing, sub to this channel too.
Don't forget my channel.
Who are you again? This guy.
I like getting involved in
Nick. Yeah, Nick, the amazing storyteller. We're gonna get your stuff on there, Nick. I gave you a shout out, but I'll give you a double shout out because you are the man.
Update: story number 7 is completed, so I'll be able to number 8 and 9 tomorrow because they're the shortest ones. So
the short ones are fun because it's like, okay, I can knock out a couple of these, and then you feel like you've done more. I get it.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess thank you guys for everything and being on the show. I got beers and barbecue to go do. So
yeah, we're gonna do a video after this as well. We're gonna be doing one of our dolls, so we might be live on Instagram. You guys on this catch on there. We're gonna do a video after this.
All right. Actually, might have to watch something then while I'm grilling.
I almost forgot to mention. I lost a few more pounds. So I'm down to almost 15 pounds now. So
hell yeah, buddy. That's what's up, man. Yeah, I'm gaining what you're losing, so don't worry. They're not going anywhere. I got them right here for you if you ever want them back. But guys, go out there and do good things because nobody else is going to. If everybody did one good thing each day, this world would not be such a shitty place. Thank you guys again so much for being here and watching, and we'll catch you next time on Hef TV.